Facebook is an online social networking service headquartered in Menlo Park, California. Its website was launched on February 4, 2004, by Mark Zuckerberg with his Harvard College roommates and fellow students Eduardo Saverin, Andrew McCollum, Dustin Moskovitz and Chris Hughes. The founders had initially limited the website's membership to Harvard students, but later expanded it to colleges in the Boston area, the Ivy League, and Stanford University. It gradually added support for students at various other universities and later to high school students. Since 2006, anyone who is at least 13 years old was allowed to become a registered user of the website, though the age requirement may be higher depending on applicable local laws. Its name comes from the Facebook directories often given to American university students. After registering to use the site, users can create a user profile, add other users as friends, exchange messages, post status updates and photos, share videos and receive notifications when others update their profiles. Additionally, users may join common interest user groups, organized by workplace, school, college, or other characteristics, and categorize their friends into lists such as people from work or close friends. Facebook had over 1.18 billion monthly active users as of August 2015. Because of the large volume of data users submit to the service, Facebook has come under scrutiny for their privacy policies. Facebook, Inc. held its initial public offering in February 2012 and began selling stock to the public 3 months later, reaching an original peak market capitalization of $104 billion. On July 13, 2015, Facebook became the fastest company in the Standard & Poor's 500 index to reach a market cap of $250 billion. Following its Q3 earnings call in 2015, Facebook's market cap soared past $300 billion. History: 2003 to 2005. The Facebook, Thiel investment and name change. Zuckerberg wrote a program called Face Mash on October 28, 2003, while attending Harvard University as a sophomore. According to the Harvard Crimson, the site was comparable to hot or not unused photos compiled from the online Facebooks of 9 houses, placing 2 next to each other at a time and asking users to choose the hotter person. To accomplish this, Zuckerberg hacked into protected areas of Harvard's computer network and copied private dormitory ID images. Harvard did not have a student Facebook at the time, although individual houses had been issuing their own paper Facebooks since the mid-1980s. And Harvard's longtime freshman yearbook was colloquially referred to as the freshman Facebook. Face Mash attracted 450 visitors and 22,000 photo views in its first 4 hours online. The site was quickly forwarded to several campus group list servers, but was shut down a few days later by the Harvard administration. Zuckerberg faced expulsion and was charged by the administration with breach of security, violating copyrights, and violating individual privacy. Ultimately, the charges were dropped. Zuckerberg expanded on this initial project that semester by creating a social study tool ahead of an art history final exam. He uploaded 500 Augustan images to a website, each of which was featured with a corresponding comments section. He shared the site with his classmates, and people started sharing notes. The following semester, Zuckerberg began writing code for a new website in January 2004. He said he was inspired by an editorial about the Face Mash incident in the Harvard Crimson. On February 4, 2004, Zuckerberg launched the Facebook, originally located at thefacebook.com. 6 days after the site launched, 3 Harvard seniors, Cameron Winklevoss, Tyler Winklevoss, and Devian Narendra, accused Zuckerberg of intentionally misleading them into believing he would help them build a social network called HarvardConnection.com. They claimed that he was instead using their ideas to build a competing product. The three complained to the Harvard Crimson and the newspaper began an investigation. They later filed a lawsuit against Zuckerberg, subsequently settling in 2008 for 1.2 million shares. Membership was initially restricted to students of Harvard College. Within the first month, more than half the undergraduates at Harvard were registered on the service. Eduardo Saverin, Dustin Moskovitz, Andrew McCollum, and Chris Hughes joined Zuckerberg to help promote the website. In March 2004, Facebook expanded to the universities of Columbia, Stanford, and Yale. It later opened to all Ivy League colleges, Boston University, New York University, MIT, and gradually most universities in the United States and Canada. In mid-2004, entrepreneur Sean Parker, an informal advisor to Zuckerberg, became the company's president. In June 2004, Facebook moved its operations base to Palo Alto, California. It received its first investment later that month from PayPal co-founder Peter Thiel. In 2005, the company dropped the from its name after purchasing the domain name Facebook.com for $200,000. In May 2005, Excel Partners invested $12.7 million in Facebook, and Jim Breyer added $1 million of his own money. A January 2009 Compete.com study ranked Facebook the most used social networking service by worldwide monthly active users. Entertainment Weekly included the site on its end of the decade best of list, saying, "How on earth did we stalk our exes, remember our co-workers' birthdays, bug our friends, and play a rousing game of Scrabulous?" Before Facebook, a high school version of the site was launched in September 2005, which Zuckerberg called the next logical step. Facebook also expanded membership eligibility to employees of several companies, including Apple Inc. and Microsoft. 2006 to 2011. Public Access, Microsoft Alliance and Rapid Growth. On September 26, 2006. Facebook was open to everyone at least 13 years old with a valid email address. In late 2007, Facebook had 100,000 business pages. These started as group pages, but a new concept called company pages was planned. Pages began rolling out for businesses in May 2009. On October 24, 2007, Microsoft announced that it had purchased a 1.6% share of Facebook for $240 million, giving Facebook a total implied value of around $15 billion. Microsoft's purchase included rights to place international advertisements on the social networking site. In October 2008, Facebook announced that it would set up its international headquarters in Dublin, Ireland. Almost a year later, in September 2009, Facebook said that it had turned cash flow positive for the first time. Traffic to Facebook increased steadily after 2009. The company announced 500 million users in July 2010, making it the largest online social network in the world at the time. According to the company's data, half of the site's membership use Facebook daily, for an average of 34 minutes, while 150 million users access the site by mobile. A company representative called the milestone the "quiet revolution" in November 2010, based on Second Marketing. Facebook's value was $41 billion. The company had slightly surpassed eBay to become the third largest American web company after Google and Amazon.com. In early 2011, Facebook announced plans to move its headquarters to the former Sun Microsystems campus in Menlo Park, California. In March 2011, it was reported that Facebook was removing approximately 20,000 profiles offline every day for violations such as spam, graphic content, and underage use, as part of its efforts to boost cybersecurity. Release of statistics by DoubleClick showed that Facebook reached 1 trillion page views in the month of June 2011, making it the most visited website tracked by DoubleClick. According to a Nielsen media research study, released in December 2011, Facebook had become the second most accessed website in the U.S., behind Google. 2012-2013 IPO, lawsuits and 1 billionth user. Facebook eventually filed for an initial public offering on February 1, 2012. Facebook held an initial public offering on May 17, 2012, negotiating a share price of $38. The company was valued at $104 billion, the largest valuation to date for a newly listed public company. Facebook Inc. began selling stock to the public and trading on the Nasdaq on May 18, 2012. Based on its 2012 income of $5 billion, Facebook joined the Fortune 500 list for the first time in May 2013, ranked in position 462. Facebook filed their S-1 document with the Securities and Exchange Commission on February 1, 2012. The company applied for a $5 billion IPO, one of the biggest offerings in the history of technology. The IPO raised $16 billion, making it the third largest in U.S. history. The shares began trading on May 18. The stock struggled to stay above the IPO price for most of the day, but set a record for the trading volume of an IPO. The first day of trading was marred by technical glitches that prevented orders from going through. Only the technical problems and artificial support from underwriters prevented the stock price from falling below the IPO price on the day. In March 2012, Facebook announced App Center, a store selling applications that operate via the site. The store was to be available on iPhones, Android devices, and mobile web users. On May 22, 2012, the Yahoo Finance website reported that Facebook's lead underwriters, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, and Goldman Sachs, cut their earnings forecasts for the company in the middle of the IPO process. The stock had begun its freefall by this time, closing at $34.03 on May 21 and $31.00 on May 22. A circuit breaker was used in an attempt to slow down the stock price's decline. Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman Mary Shapiro, and Financial Industry Regulatory Authority Chairman Rick Ketchum, called for a review of the circumstances surrounding the IPO. Facebook's IPO was consequently investigated, and was compared to a pump-and-dump scheme. A class action lawsuit was filed in May 2012 because of the trading glitches, which led to botched orders. Lawsuits were filed, alleging that an underwriter for Morgan Stanley selectively revealed adjusted earnings estimates to preferred clients. The other underwriters, Facebook's CEO and board, and Nasdaq also faced litigation after numerous lawsuits were filed, while SEC and FINRA both launched investigations. It was believed that adjustments to earnings estimates were communicated to the underwriters by a Facebook financial officer, who used the information to cash out on the positions while leaving the general public with overpriced shares. By the end of May 2012, Facebook's stock lost over a quarter of its starting value, which led the Wall Street Journal to label the IPO a fiasco. Zuckerberg announced to the media at the start of October 2012 that Facebook had passed the monthly active users mark of 1 billion. Facebook defines active users as a logged-in member who visits the site or accesses it through a third-party site connected to Facebook, at least once a month. Fake accounts were not mentioned in the announcement, but the company continued to remove them after it found that 8.7% of its users were not real in August 2012. The company's data also revealed 600 million mobile users, 140 billion friend connections since the inception of Facebook, and the median age of a user is 22 years. 2013 present. Site developments. A4AI and 10th anniversary. On January 15, 2013, Facebook announced Facebook Graph Search, which provides users with a precise answer, rather than a link to an answer by leveraging the data present on its site. Facebook emphasized that the feature would be privacy-aware, returning only results from content already shared with the user. The company became the subject of a lawsuit by Rembrandt Social Media in February 2013 for patents involving the "like" button. On April 3, 2013, Facebook unveiled Facebook Home, a user interface layer for Android devices offering greater integration with the site. HTC announced the HTC First, a smartphone with Home preloaded. On April 15, 2013, Facebook announced an alliance across 19 states with the National Association of Attorneys General to provide teenagers and parents with information on tools to manage social networking profiles. On April 19, 2013, Facebook officially modified its logo to remove the faint blue line at the bottom of the F icon. The letter F moved closer to the edge of the box. Following a campaign by 100 advocacy groups, Facebook agreed to update its policy on hate speech. The campaign highlighted content promoting domestic and sexual violence against women, and used over 57,000 tweets and more than 4,900 emails that caused withdrawal of advertising from the site by 15 companies, including Nissan UK, House of Burlesque and Nationwide UK. The social media website initially responded by stating that, while it may be vulgar and offensive, distasteful content on its own does not violate our policies. It decided to take action on May 29, 2013, after it became clear that our systems to identify and remove hate speech have failed to work as effectively as we would like, particularly around issues of gender-based hate. On June 12, 2013, Facebook announced on its newsroom that it was introducing clickable hashtags to help users follow trending discussions or search what others are talking about on a topic. A July 2013 Wall Street Journal article identified the Facebook IPO as the cause of a change in the U.S. national economic statistics, as the local government area of the company's headquarters, San Mateo County, California, became the top wage-earning county in the country after the fourth quarter of 2012. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that the average weekly wage in the county was $3,240, 107% higher than the previous year. It noted the wages were the equivalent of $168,000 a year, and more than 50% higher than the next highest county, New York County, at $2,107 a week, or roughly $110,000 a year. Russian internet firm Mail.ru sold its Facebook shares for $525 million on September 5, 2013. Following its initial $200 million investment in 2009, partly owned by Russia's richest man, Alisher Usmanova, the firm owned a total of 14.2 million remaining shares prior to the sale. In the same month, the Chinese government announced that it will lift the ban on Facebook in the Shanghai Free Trade Zone, to welcome foreign companies to invest and to let foreigners live and work happily in the Free Trade Zone. Facebook was first blocked in China in 2009. Facebook was announced as a member of the Alliance for Affordable Internet in October 2013, when the A4AI was launched. The A4AI is a coalition of public and private organizations that includes Google, Intel and Microsoft. Led by Sir Tim Berners-Lee, the A4AI seeks to make Internet access more affordable so that access is broadened in the developing world, where only 31% of people are online. Google will help to decrease Internet access prices so that they fall below the UN Broadband Commission's worldwide target of 5% of monthly income. A Reuters report, published on December 11, 2013, stated that Standard & Poor's announced the placement of Facebook on its S&P 500 index. After the close of trading on December 20, Facebook announced Q4 2013 earnings of $523 million. an increase of $64 million from the previous year, as well as 945 million mobile users. By January 2014, Facebook's market capitalization had risen to over $134 billion. At the end of January 2014, 1.23 billion users were active on the website every month. The company celebrated its 10th anniversary during the week of February 3, 2014. In each of the first 3 months of 2014, over 1 billion users logged into their Facebook account on a mobile device. In February 2014, Facebook announced that it would be buying mobile messaging company WhatsApp for $19 billion in cash and stock. In June 2014, Facebook announced the acquisition of Prite, a Finnish mobile data plan firm that aims to make it easier for mobile phone users in underdeveloped parts of the world to use wireless internet apps. At the start of July 2014, Facebook announced the acquisition of Liverail, a San Francisco, California-based online video advertising company. Liverail's technology facilitates the sale of video inventory across different devices. The terms of the deal were undisclosed, but TechCrunch reported that Facebook paid between $400 million and $500 million. As part of the company's second quarter results, Facebook announced in late July 2014 that mobile accounted for 62% of its advertising revenue, which is an increase of 21% from the previous year. Alongside other American technology figures like Jeff Bezos and Tim Cook, Zuckerberg hosted visiting Chinese politician Liu Wei, known as the Internet Czar, for his influence in the enforcement of China's online policy, at Facebook's headquarters on December 8, 2014. The meeting occurred after Zuckerberg participated in a Q&A session at Tsinghua University in Beijing, China, on October 23, 2014, where he attempted to converse in Mandarin, although Facebook is banned in China. Zuckerberg is highly regarded among the people and was at the university to help fuel the nation's burgeoning entrepreneur sector. A book of Chinese President Xi Jinping found on Zuckerberg's office desk attracted a great deal of attention in the media. After the Facebook founder explained to Liu, "I want Facebook staff to understand socialism with Chinese characteristics," Zuckerberg fielded questions during a live Q&A session at the company's headquarters in Menlo Park on December 11, 2014. The question of whether the platform would adopt a dislike button was raised again, and Zuckerberg said, "We're, Facebook, thinking about it, dislike button. It's an interesting question," and said that he likes the idea of Facebook users being able to express a greater variety of emotions. In October 2015, Zuckerberg said that instead of creating a dislike button, Facebook is testing emoji reactions as an alternative to the like button as of January 21, 2015. Facebook's algorithm is programmed to filter out false or misleading content, such as fake news stories and hoaxes, and will be supported by users who select the option to flag a story as purposefully fake or deceitful news, according to Reuters. Such content is being spread like a wildfire on the social media platform. Facebook maintained that satirical content, intended to be humorous, or content that is clearly labeled as satire, will be taken into account and should not be intercepted. The algorithm, however, has been accused of maintaining a filter bubble, where both material the user disagrees with and posts with a low level of likes will also not be seen. In 2015 November, Zuckerberg prolonged period of paternity leave from 4 weeks to 4 months.